Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Claire. Get ready with me for work while I share a story time about how I found out my mother was going to prison for 10 years. Looking back at it now, like, that's actually a little traumatizing in a sense. Like, damn, every day I would go to school not knowing if I came home and my mom would be there. Right? I just realized that my anxiety started back when my mom went to prison. Wow, I gotta tell my therapist this. But some things that I vividly remember, I'm about to share with you. So, going to a friend's house very often with my stepdad, and I had no idea that he was one of the homies on the team. Our lives changed drastically. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Claire. Get ready with me for work while I share a story time about how I found out my mother was going to prison for 10 years. So, my mom, where should I even start? I don't even know, because the story is just so crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but I guess there's other crazier stories out there, really. But yeah, so basically my mom went to prison for 10 years. I found out when I was in the 5th grade. But there's a lot of like backstory and little memories that I remember that is crazy to me as a child, thinking about it now as a parent myself. I'm going in with this e.l.f. primer, grip hold power grip primer. I am just gonna do a quick little natural beat because I'm not the best at makeup, but I will share what I'm using if it's legible. So I was in the 5th grade when I found out that my mother was going to prison for 10 years. I'll never forget, or no, I was in the 6th grade or I was about to go to the 6th grade, one of those. I was in the 5th grade when she actually got locked up. But then I was going to the 6th grade when I found out, or I was already in 6th grade, one of those. Anyways, found out my mother was going to jail, or prison, because she was already locked up. Prior to her leaving, she started to like prepare me for it. Like prepare me for her to be gone. And looking back at it now, like, that's actually a little traumatizing in a sense. Like, damn, every day I would go to school not knowing if I came home and my mom would be there. One day I came home and she wasn't there. She was gone off to jail. There was a lot of emotions going on back then. I'm about to go in with this Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. This is 5W1 tan. So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, and then I'll come back to the conversation in the phone call when I found out my mother was going to prison for 10 years. So prior to her going, little backstory. So my mom has kind of always been in and out of prison my entire life, from what I can remember. Prior to this 10-year sentence, she actually was in prison or jail for like a year or two prior. And I remember that situation as well very vividly. And that might be another story time for another day, because guys, when I say the FBI came and raided our shit, it was crazy. Like, they damn near wanted to take my dog, blinds, curtains. Like, honestly, what was my mom doing? Like, I don't know. I really don't. But anyway, so prior to her going to prison, we had just recently moved with her, my sister and I, because she was released from jail. Where were we living during her time in jail when I was in like the 3rd and 4th grade? We were living with my dad. He was married at the time to his wife Laverne, may she rest in peace. And then we just got up and moved to my mom's house. Just no one asked, no thought in it, how we felt, me or my sister, how we felt. It was just, the decision was made for us, and that's that. And I get it in a sense because we were children, but it's kind of like my mom has been in and out of jail, guys. Why do you guys keep sending us back to her to be back in situations? I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Parents, the generation before us, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, we moved back with my mom. Fast forward to like maybe like a year or two, my mom got back with her husband at the time. And then more siblings started to move in. His kids moved in, my twin brothers moved in, and then I have an older sister that my mother has, her oldest child. She was the oldest, so she never moved in. We were all living in this townhouse. It was pretty big. We were all living in this town. And then at some point, while we were all living there, we found out my mother was going to go to prison. And she started to prepare me for it. I don't really remember a lot because this was a very traumatic time in my life. And so I'm not surprised that I don't remember a lot of things that occurred. And, you know, I'm honestly not shocked. I'm the youngest of 18 brothers and sisters. And so I'm the baby of the family. And so a lot of things were actually like kept from me, I guess, to protect me. And I don't know, like, now as an adult, it's hard to say because I try to protect my kid from a lot of things these days, you know. But my brothers and sisters knew, like, they knew that my mom was going to prison. Oh, I forgot to share that I'm using the NICAC brow super fixer. It's like to hold the eyebrow in place, and then I'm gonna go in with the the dark brown pencil that came with it. It was like a set. So anyways, so I guess I get it in a sense because, again, they were trying to protect me, you know. And it's like, okay, cool, I get it. I want to protect little sis. Got it, right? But I don't feel like I was prepared in a way that my mom thought she was preparing me by letting me know that she may not be home one day I get home. Like, I don't think that was the best way. Anyways, so one day my mom wasn't home. I came home and she wasn't there. Side note, I would come home for days wondering if she would be home. And this is why I say, like, I'm not sure that was the best way to prepare me for such a change. Because every day I would get home, my anxiety, oh my God, I just had a breakthrough moment, guys. I just realized that my anxiety started back when my mom went to prison. Wow, I gotta tell my therapist this. So anyways, so yeah, wow, I'm sorry. I'm so mind blown right now because I've been making strides in therapy, y'all. Strides. So anyways, wow. Yeah, so every day I would like be so anxious going home because I didn't know if my mom would be there. Like, I didn't know if the day was the day for her to leave. And she never said like, oh, I'm leaving to go to prison or jail. Like, she just said I had to go away for a little bit, right? Like, they dead ass treated me like a baby for a long time. So yeah, so one day she left. She wasn't there when I got home from school one day. And from what I remember, my siblings were like really broken up about this. They were really broken up, and I want to say that they were already home before me, which is not really normal because I was in elementary school at the time, and I always got home before them. So yeah, so that's what happened. And that day was kind of like it's kind of a blur for me. And maybe as I continue to do these story times, it'll come back to me. I'm not really sure, but that day was like a big blur for me. I don't really remember what happened that day or how we moved forward, me or my family, that day. But literally life kept moving, but there were so many changes happening. Like, we had to figure out where we were gonna live, where we were gonna stay with my stepdad, where we're gonna move with the pastor, which is like an uncle, I guess. The pastor of our church at that. He went to school with my mom, and so they're just very close. And so I guess, you know, he offered to take us in. So yeah, so it was a lot of changes being made, but again, I'm a kid, so I really don't understand what's going on during this time. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And so, what is the time? Because the girl be rapping. It's 11:20. I gotta hurry this rant up. I am using the Sephora Color Blush Collection. I'm Quite Tipsy, number 8. I broke the top, so I don't really care to show you guys. I mean, I'll show you. It's a pretty color nonetheless, but the top is what it is. So yeah, so it was kind of like a blur, but some things that I vividly remember, I'm about to share with you. So some things that I can remember while going through this transition of my mom going to prison for 10 years, I vividly remember like going to a friend's house very often with my stepdad. Mind you, my siblings could not stand his ass, like, but I had no idea what he was doing, and I'm gonna share why they couldn't stand it. Shit normal for me as much as he can, I guess. But lo and behold, why was he f***ing the mom? Yeah, you heard it right. He was having sex with my friend's mother. And I had no idea, guys. Like, I would literally ask to go over to this girl's house every weekend, almost every day after school. And I had no idea that he was one of the homies on the team. I had no idea. Like, so disgusted. And he used me as the bait. Like, if you're seeing this, that shit ain't right, okay? I had no idea, and you knew I had no idea as an adult. So yeah, so I had no idea, but nonetheless, I'm being a kid, I'm having fun at her house. It's taking my mind off of like my mom not being around, and this girl's mom was the sweetest thing, but I, again, never thought anything of it until a few weeks go by. I stopped seeing the girl for whatever reason, don't really know, probably because him and the mama may have gotten into it. That's my guess. But weeks later, there's another hoe, okay? And not only is he this lady, but he moved this bitch to my mama's house. Yes, you heard that shit right. It's crazy. It's crazy. This shit is juicy. Yo, this shit, the tea is hot, y'all. He moved this hoe into my mom's house. This was literally sleeping in my mom's bed. Literally walking around. Wouldn't be surprised if she had my mama's robe on, y'all. Like, his ass is disrespectful. And this is side note, but like, damn, it makes me realize like we really never had like good examples growing up. Like, especially in relationships. Oh my god, stay tuned for my relationship vlog. I went through some shit. So yeah, so I'm going in with the Becca Highlight Shimmery Skin Perfector. I don't really know. This is so dirty, but this is what it looks like. So yeah, so he was so disrespectful, honestly, when I think back on it. Like, this disrespectful ass man. Crazy, right? I know, y'all. So yeah, so he moved that up in there. My twin brothers was not having it. They asses moved. They ended up moving with like friends. First, I think they moved with their dad, but then I don't think that worked out for them, and so they moved with like some friends because they played sports, and that looks differently. Like, when you play sports in high school and you get connected with like friends and families that really actually care about your journey and like where you're headed. I didn't really have that because, again, I was young and it just didn't look like that for me. Or for my sister, actually, because my sister went to foster care as well. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be today or any of it. So anyways, my nose is super shiny. I mean, I love it, but it's really giving popping. So yeah, so my brothers moved out. Everybody basically went our separate ways. I don't really remember how it happened. I do remember like being in the court, having to go to court, things like that, being asked like where we wanted to go and stuff. And my sister, who I refer to all the time, or who I've been referring to, me and her have the same mom and dad, and we've been the closest, and she's like the closest person or sibling, family member of mine. This is really giving shiny. So yeah, so long story short, me and my sister ended up having to go to care, but before we went to care, we made a few pit stops before we got there. Yeah, pit stops is what I would call it. And so we basically split up, and we ended up going with 2 other sisters. And so for the purpose of my family, I'm just gonna come up with some names, so that way people don't really know who is who, but I know my family will know when they're watching this, so whatever. So my sister that I'm closest with to this day, who shares the same mother and father as me, let's go with, her name is Red. Let's call her Red. And then the sister that I ended up moving with during this transition, let's call her Jill. So me and Red have the same mother and father. Jill, she has the same mother as us. Now, her and my mother never had the best type of relationship. She actually was adopted herself. However, I guess when I was younger, I was pretty close with Jill. And so, shit, my only guess is I'm the one that told the judge, I'll go with Jill because I don't know if I want to go with the pastor. Shit, Red didn't go with the pastor. You know? What? Like, I don't want to go with the pastor. Red ended up going with one of our other sisters named Lily. Now, Lily is our sister through our father. Technically, her brother is our brother, and so that's how she is our sister, but what I will say is, like, I don't believe in things like that, and I low-key think she really is my dad's child. They look smack alike. So yeah, so we split up, and I moved with Jill. Red went with Lily, and our lives changed drastically. Like, to hear more about what happened when I moved with Jill, be sure to like this video. More about my transition and moving in with Jill, because it gets wild moving in with Jill. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to tune in for more. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.